Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Qasid Online. This is Ayub Palmer, and I'm an Arabic instructor for Qasid Arabic Institute. This is the 24th video in our Arabic letters series, and we'll be learning about the Nun and the Alif-Madd. You can take out your writing worksheet and follow along with this video if you wish. For those who don't have the worksheets that accompany this video series, please fill out the form at the end of the video, and Qasid will have them sent to you. Let's get started. So we have four main objectives in this lesson. The first is to pronounce the Nun and the Alif-Madd correctly. The second is to recognize the Nun and the Alif-Madd when we see them in a word. The third is to write the Nun and the Alif-Madd in their different forms. And the fourth is to write and pronounce the Alif-Madd and the Nun in a word. And the word we have for this lesson is Ameen, or Amen in Arabic. Now let's look at the pronunciation of the Nun and the Alif-Madd. So we have the Nun here, which is a letter in Arabic, which is very similar to a letter in English, and that is the letter N, as in needle. So that's not too difficult. The Alif-Madd, and I told you before that we were not going to have any more Hamzas. However, that was not completely true because the Alif-Madd contains a Hamza. So what is this little line, squiggly line here on top of the Alif? And again, this is an Alif here, and this is the line that, or the squiggly line that indicates what we call the Mad. Now, an Alif-Madd is actually a Hamza and an Alif. So this letter here is actually the combination of a Hamza and an Alif together. And so we pronounce it ah, and you hear the Hamza at the very beginning, the ah, and we could write it like this, ah. Now let's look at where these letters are in our alphabet. So now we're at the Nun and the Alif-Madd. So now we're going to look at these letters and how to write them in their different positions. So again, we have four positions for the Arabic letters. We have the Nun in its independent position, which looks like this. And in the initial position, it looks like this. Like the Ba and the Ta and the Tha and the Ya in their initial positions, but with one dot on top. And the third position, the medial position, the Nun looks like this. And in the fourth position, in the final position, it looks again like the independent position, like that. Now the Alif-Madd is going to look like basically an Alif with a line on top. So it's going to look like that. And that's in the independent position. In the initial position, again, it's going to look the same. And in the medial position, it's going to look like this. And in the final position, it would look like this again. So again, just like the Alif-Madd has two forms for that represent all 4 positions. Now let's write these together. And we'll write the noon. Let's write the noon. So we're going to write the noon in the independent position, and the noon here will dip below the line like that. And it looks kind of like a cauldron. A cauldron is a big pot. So here we're going to go underneath the line like that. The noon. And one more time. Again. Like that. The noon. Now, in the initial position, it's pretty easy. It just looks like that. Like the ba and the ta and the tha and the ya, but with 1 dot on top. So it's going to look like this. Like that. And again, noon like that. In the medial position, the noon is going to look like this. Going to connect from both sides. Like this. And in the final position, the noon will look like this. And again, come below the line, but will connect from the right. Like that. And again, like that. Okay. Now let's write the Alif-Madd. So in the initial and the independent position, the alif, it's basically an alif with a little wavy line on top. One more time. Alif, the wavy line. Alif with the wavy line. Now in the medial and in the final positions, alif will, I have to connect. Alif will look like that. Will look like this. And again, like that. So that is our Alif-Madd. So now let's write the Alif. Let's write the Alif-Madd and the noon in a word, and the word that we're going to write it in is Ameen. Okay, so again, let's just summarize. The noon in its independent position looks like this. Initial position, it looks like this. In the medial position, it looks like this. And in the final position, it looks like this. And the Alif-Madd looks like this. And in these positions, it looks like that. So we have Ameen, Ameen. So you hear the the hamza at the beginning, and then a long alif, long vowel alif. So that hamza followed by a long vowel alif, that is the mad, and we write it as one letter. Okay, so you hear the that's an Alif-Madd. And then you hear a m, Ameen. So you hear the meme. And then you hear a ya, e, Ameen, Ameen. So now we have a ya. And a noon at the end. You hear the n sound, Ameen. So we put a noon. There we go. Now the alif and the meme, Alif-Madd and the meme, they don't connect. Right? But the meme and the ya, they do connect, and the noon and the ya do connect. Okay, so we're gonna write this like this. Alif-Madd, with the meme now, meen, and the ya in the medial position, and the noon in the final position. Ameen. And Ameen means amen in English. Now let's write this word together several times. We have amen here. Let's write the alif, alif-Madd, our meme here in the initial position, ya in the medial position, and noon in the final position. Ameen. One more time. Alif, Mad, meme in the initial position, ya, and the noon. There we go. Ameen. Okay, one more time. Alif, alif-Madd, meme, ya, noon. Ameen, meaning amen. Now let's summarize what we've done so far. And if you remember, the letter Nun in Arabic is like the letter N in English, as in the word note, or, as we said before, needle. The Alif-Madd is pronounced as a combination Hamza and long vowel Alif, as in The letter Nun connects to letters both before it and after it. So the Nun in the medial position looks like this. The Alif-Madd, on the other hand, like the long vowel Alif, connects to letters before it but not after it. So please download the writing worksheet and practice writing the Nun and the Alif-Madd on your worksheet. And also don't forget to download the letter combination chart and reading activity for this lesson to practice reading the meme and the Alif-Madd along with all of the other letters and words that you've been learning so far. And to get a hold of our entire set of worksheets that go along with these video tutorials, please see the instructions at the end of this video or in the text blurb below. Thank you so much. Ma'as salama.